So, before we get started, a small disclaimer. I did watch the movie, yet somehow I did not pay a single cent for it. And to be honest, if I would not have my methods of getting information I need, as well as the resources I need, for free, I certainly would not go after those information and or resources. So, that being said, I'm as biased as someone can be. Because, obviously, I'm an active worshipper of the wonderful deities, especially my overall beloved goddess, Athena, for whom I not only wrote an entire book, first link in the description as well as a pinned comment, and made an audiobook version on YouTube, second link, but also made a 3-hour course on my second channel, split into two 6-hour videos, the other two links in the pinned comment and description, to teach Attic dialect, which is the classical Greek, as well as having written and published a grammar book for the Attic dialect, again, link in the pinned comment. And I'm teaching Homeric Greek via the Homeric Odyssey, at least a little bit. Furthermore, I have been fighting, so to speak, misconceptions about the Greek mythology for nearly a decade now. So, yeah, I'm kinda very biased. But I watched it without any bias, as much as I could, of course. And thus, the following is my own opinion. Feel free to disagree, but be respectful and polite. No hatred or strong language. We are not like the Cyclops Polyphemus or the suitors of Ithaca. A little reference to my previous video. I did talk a lot about the different kind of mythologies, which means mythology as stories versus mythology as part of a religion. And obviously, with the stories of Homer, the Iliad and Odyssey in particular, we clearly have mythology as stories. And then there is another question I had. Why was only Athena portrayed, but not the other wonderful deities? Now, don't get me wrong on this one. I definitely prefer it when the wonderful deities are implied off-screen, rather than potentially butchered on-screen. The one goddess they never should put on-screen, I think, as it will always end up kinda bad. They simply can't portray her properly. And this also goes for Zendaya. I'm not saying that her acting skills are bad, by no means. But even the best actresses and actors can only work with what they got. And if the script fails, then there is not really much they can do. And when it comes to portraying any deity, the script will ultimately fail. There is nothing a really good actress or actor can do to prevent this. And that comes from someone who not only actively worships Athena, hence my extreme bias, but also has studied Greek mythology for over a decade. I have, again, even written a book specifically about Athena, talking about all the myths she appears in, and explaining them, explaining her roles, and much more. And in various online interviews and videos, where some of the cast is being asked about anything related to mythology, they either act like it would be extremely difficult.
What's your favorite mythological creature? The favorite one. Yeah, it's a shot in the dark. That's right.
My favorite mythological person or what?
Or creature. You can choose.
Yo, I'm jet lagged. I don't think I can think of that.
Okay.
No.
Extremely difficult, as if they did not just make a movie about the most important pieces, or one of the most important pieces of literature of Greek mythology. Also, it would be helpful if you would watch my previous 2 deep dive videos as well, to understand certain aspects of the Odyssey that I will go over during this review. In my magnum opus, the hymn to my overall beloved goddess Athena. To be more precise, the ninth point, the journey of Odysseus, patron and protector of the Odyssey. In the description, you can find the timestamps. I have already covered the meaning of her doing, yet I will try to have it as simple as possible here. But a lot of the topics, obviously, I will only be able to tangent rather than deep dive. Yet, this review kinda serves as a great third part of the Odyssey Deep Dive, especially because we have talked about a lot of important parts already. And there will be more parts to the series, of course. Then there's another thing. And this actually kinda made me a little bit mad. Here, have a look at the little passage of the actress Lupita Nyong'o, who played Helen of Troy, who said the following.
I'd be like, so Homer, how do you feel about the screen time given to these women, considering how little you spend with them?
Yet, if we look at the actual screen time given to the female cast, we see that. So, not only is this way less, but if we also consider that she, again, Lupita Nyong'o, did not even read the Odyssey, as stated by herself, before, as well as the fact that there are a lot of female characters in the original Homeric Odyssey. I probably make an entire video about all the female characters at some point as well. It becomes more and more absurd. The next thing, Sinon is not part of the Odyssey, but the Aeneid. The character of Sinon is not part of the original Homeric Odyssey. He originates exclusively from Virgil's Aeneid, or in the English title, the Aeneid. So, to give a bit of context, the Trojan horse. Sinon is the pivotal Greek soldier who feigns betrayal by his own side, letting himself be captured by the Trojans. He is responsible for telling them the Trojan horse is a sacred offering to the goddess Athena, thus tricking them into wheeling it inside their city walls. In the Homeric Odyssey, though, here it details Odysseus' journey after the fall of Troy, while the Trojan horse is referenced in the Odyssey. The story of how it was actually infiltrated and how Troy fell is outside the scope of Homer's poem. We do see something similar with the golden apple, where Hades has to choose between the three goddesses Athena, Hera, and Aphrodite. This golden apple, this decision of Hades, is outside of the Iliad, as it was written long after Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. And again, if I have told numerous times, Greek mythology is not Roman mythology. Yet, I'm sure you know who actually is in the Odyssey, in the crucial moment of Odysseus going into the Hades, which is the underworld, talking to someone. That someone is Achilles. I talked about that in the previous video. Achilles' regret of choosing a short life of glory and war over a long home life. Here, a little insert. While writing my script for this review, something else happened. As of the time of writing this, it is not 100% confirmed, yet it very much seems like it is true. The actual ratings, for example on Rotten Tomatoes and platforms like that, are heavily altered and show a much higher positive rating than in actuality. I will not include this in my review, but I wanted to mention this here as well, because It seems like not only did the movie not really flop, but also not really not flop. It seems like there is even a shady attempt of drastically pushing positive reviews, which are paid, before the movie was made public. And after it was public, a lot of shenanigans and dubious behavior is still going on. Anyway, let us begin.